What's up, bros and hoes, whatever floats your goat? It's Relentless here, bringing you yet another Division build video. Thank you all so much for tuning in. If you happen to be new to the channel, ground and pound that like and subscribe button, and don't forget to turn on post notifications so that way you know each and every time a new video is uploaded. We are on the loom of the next GE event, which is, if those of you are out there haven't yet finished a complete Predator's Mark build, or you're just missing some key better gear as far as certain things you couldn't roll, some things you could tweak to actually optimize it the most. Well, have no fear, the next GE event that starts tomorrow, you'll be able to get your hands on better Predator's Mark pieces. But until then, I figure I'd give you this little tidbit out there on how to fake it till you make it. So without further ado, check out the links in the description below, and we'll get right into it. Now, there's different variations of which you can do this. Basically, all you do need is either 3 pieces of Predator's Mark and the Ninja Bag, or you can go 4 pieces Pred and then mix and match, whether you want Savage and Vicious, Vigorous, or the Colonel Bliss's Holster, Tenacious Mask. It all depends on how you want to do it. So I tried to maximize my crit chance as far as when utilizing an AR. Also, the trusty SMG for the baked-in crit hit chance. So as you can see here, I have 5 pieces of Predator's Mark and of course Savage gloves. If you prefer going, say you're in a group with a healer, then you can go the 5 pieces with Predator with the Vigorous chest piece. Also, like I said, you can go with a variation of the Predschi build. Instead of having 3 pieces of Banshee, go with 3 pieces of Pred plus the Ninja Bag, and then of course the other 2 Banshee. You can also do it that way. This way it's just less complicated to me, and plus those of you out there that are big fans of the Savage gloves, you know that I don't really use them that often, so I figured I would include this in this build right here. As you can see, I picked them up on East 40th Street. They're not too bad. They already had crit damage and crit chance on them, so if you're looking for a decent pair of Savage gloves, go grab them up and then just optimize them. As you can see, we're missing about a little over about 130 off of its main stat stamina. I'd rather have it had firearms here, but the RNG gods completely hate me, and it would just give me crap Savage gloves all the way around. So this is the best I could get my hands on in such a short notice and get this video out before the GE event starts. But as you can see, crit hit damage, SMG damage, and crit chance. And the Savage, of course, his critical hit chance is increased by 7% against targets out of cover. So that also helps with the AR, but I'm more or less a primary SMG player, so that's what I choose to do with my damage. But if you prefer an AR, then by all means put AR damage where I had SMG damage. Moving on to the chest piece. Major attributes, enemy armor damage, and health. There are a lot of trolls out there, and they think that this little bit of 6% enemy armor damage plays no factor in the bleed whatsoever, but contraire mon frere, that's why I get complimented on how hard my bleed actually is. I think I had some troll comment on the Predator's Mark build that I have up, the one that was recently published, stating that he saw that I had enemy armor damage on my chest piece and then decided to click off. Well, too bad, sucks to be him. Most people like exotic damage resilience here, but I prefer the enemy armor damage. Even that little 6% does make a bit of difference in both NPCs and agents alike in the Dark Zone or in all the LS stuff. So that's why I have enemy armor damage and always health and then ammo capacity. In the mod slots, we have 265 firearms and a crit chance. Moving on to the mask, we have crit chances always on the major attributes, and that 11% damage to elites helps out with the all the NPCs activity, both Dark Zone and in Light Zone, and also rolled to stamina. Moving on to the Kneepads, you want crit hit damage. I just actually got these. It goes up to 9% crit hit damage, so I'm 1% off. But these will be ultimately replacing the ones I have here. As you can see, these are fully optimized, and it has shock resistance, burn resistance, and increased kill XP. So once these are completely optimized, they will actually edge out them a little bit because they have the shock and also a little baked-in bleed resistance and blind death resistance. Now, my trifecta would be burn, bleed, and shock, but, you know, beggars can't be choosers. This is just a little bit better once it is fully optimized. But you want crit hit damage in the major attributes. And in the mod slots, we have firearms and health with a first aid self-heal. You can go with another firearms and crit chance if you like here, but I'm already at like 59% crit chance, so I'd rather have the little over 3k health, because that could mean one bullet, and we all know that one split second could be a death or stay alive situation, especially if you're waiting for your med kit or a heal to come off cooldown, or waiting for teammates along the same lines as theirs to come off cool so they can activate combat medic and help you out. So that little split second does pay off in dividends. Moving on to the backpack, you want crit hit damage on the backpack, roll to stamina and ammo capacity. And then we have 2 first aid self heals with firearms and health. Holster, main stat, you want crit hit chance, and in the performance mod slot, you want first aid self heal. Like I said, there's different variations on how you could do this. You could tweak a Predshy build, and like I said, just to have more of the Predator's Mark than you do Banshee. You can, if you have a healer, you can go 5-piece Pred. Also with a vigorous chest piece, you can go with a tenacious mask. Basically, you just want 4 pieces of Predator's Mark any way you can get it, whether it be 3 Pred and a ninja bag, whatever you so choose. So basically, you're just wanting to fake them thinking that you have Predator's Mark. And usually people that, you know, look at your gear and see what you have on, the least little thing that they will notice is actually your gloves. So if they look on your knee pads, your backpack, and your holster, they're going to think you're a full 6-piece Pred. So in come the tons of immune boxes and everything else, but yet even in their immune box, you're still going to be laying waste to them just because of the base damage alone. As you can see, 21.9k on my house with Vicious, Deadly, and Card Counter. Crit chance, crit damage, magazine size, and the optics, crit damage, optimal range, and crit chance. Muzzle, crit damage, headshot damage, crit hit chance. And then the underbarrel, crit hit damage, optimal range, and reload speed. On to the AR, it's lightweight and 19.5k base with Vicious, Unforgiving, and Competent. In the magazine, we have size, crit hit damage, crit hit chance, optics, crit hit chance, accuracy, crit hit damage. And in the underbarrel, or large muzzle, and in the underbarrel, we have stability, crit chance, and crit damage. I need that little extra stability because, as you all know, I tend to have a little bit of potato aim here and there. But on my house, as you can see, I'm at 59% crit hit chance. I'm missing that 1% on the knee pads. In other words, I would be hitting that 136% crit hit damage. Now, on the AR side, when it comes to my character sheet, I'm at 40.5% crit hit chance and 75% crit hit damage and 75% headshot damage. Level 26 stability. Reload speed is quite nice. You can add extra reload speed if you wanted to, such as on a magazine, if you want to reload faster or implement something along the Swift. Basically, if you just wanted to implement the bleed status effect on them, so that way they freak out like most people do. And since that Pred Mark build I put up, there's like an influx of people that are really wanting to use the Predator's Mark. Unfortunately, they ran into me in the Dark Zone. That link will be in the description alone. They were all running Pred, but yet, you know, it's not as easy as what most trolls think. And a lot of people think that those that use the Pred is garbage. But there is actually an art to applying the bleed, because when you have so many counters, such as Predator's Mark does, you have to know the ins and outs of the actual build, how to counter the counters for it, and how best to affect them, and that way they have no choice but to bleed out. There is tactics involved. It's not just, oh, you got to fire 10 shots and you're just waiting on the bleed. Yes, the bleed is a part of it, but yet if you're skilled enough and knowledgeable enough, there's so many counters that most of the time it does actually take more skill, because you have to actually get rid of their boxes, such as run a disrupt, like I do on my Predator's Mark build. And sometimes that's not even, work. Then you use EMP grenades. Effectively use cover. If you're just able to only hit them a couple of times, such as those that are in cover, and then proceed to rush them, you can actually use that status effect to where they have to pop a med kit, and by popping a med kit, they have to actually stop firing at you, and that way this comes into place, that you can continue to put down damage and rain hell upon them while they're scrambling, trying to figure out how to stop the bleed. And you know in the back of your head it's not the full 6-piece, so it's not going to be some massive bleed chunk. You just want to freak them, excuse my language, you want to freak them the fuck out. Because apparently a lot of people are freaked out, and that's why they hate on Predator's Mark so much. It's one of probably the top hated builds out there, along with, you know, solo nomads. But even when it comes to the solo nomads, it's an art, and you can actually effectively take down a solo nomad if you know how to use this build properly and actually use tactics, and don't just try to face tank someone thinking, oh, well, I'm just going to bleed them out real quick and heavy. It's not always that easy. So there's actually an art to playing with Predator's Mark. But anyways, that's it. This is Fake It Till You Make It. It's an awesome build. Just anything that'll apply the bleed status effect. Like I said, there's different variations, but it is a lot of fun to watch people freak out, especially if you're in game chat. Like, oh no, this dude's had Predator's Mark, and next thing you know, they want to scramble, and then they want to switch up their tactics. In other words, they're just pretty much freaking out and switching up things to counter more or less the heavy bleed, when in essence you don't have heavy bleed. You're actually doing a lot more damage even in their boxes. So it's a good quick way to have fun, to switch things up and just make them presume things, and pretty much cause a little, I guess, discombobulation inside their squad. But also there will be a boot camp PvP DPS build video coming out shortly. If y'all, that is something interesting you want to see, then ground and pound that like and subscribe button, and post in the comments that's something you're interested in, because I know there's a lot of new players or new players coming back to the division that may not know how to actually not more or less not know how to PvP, but not know how to make a PvP DPS build. So let me know what you guys think. Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see you fudging later.